Let's talk non-physical, non-physical. Let's talk non-physical. Let's talk non-physical. Let us have some spirit talk. Some spirit talk. Let us have some spirit talk.
You know?
So that gets to something that I've been interested in, and actually I've been sort of blocked, which is I want to develop actual electronic technology to connect with the spirit world. Now, people can claim they. Have you heard about this stuff like spirit boxes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I've heard of that.
So yeah, I've been working on some other ideas. But anyways, my hope was that spirit could give me, the blueprints or the ideas that would allow me to then build that device, and then everyone would have access.
Right.
I would definitely try Robert Peterson's books. Also, there's for increasing lucid dreaming, what you do is similar to what you were doing in the morning. What you do is you wake yourself up around 3 o'clock in the morning, you stay up for 30 minutes, and then you go back to sleep. This is called the wake back to bed method, the WBT method. Right. And this is good for inducing a lucid dream. And then from the lucid dream, you can do what Claudio does and, jump out and go from there.
Right.
What I wanted to say is that when you were saying, when he was asking about going to a concrete reality, that is not going to happen. That's something where we should try to avoid. That sometimes from our experiences, we never got into some particular thing. That doesn't mean that somebody else might get there. So, because other people got to concrete reality. So I think myself, I got a few times.
Okay. So I shouldn't dissuade anybody from possibilities.
No, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from. You had so many experiences that, people usually tend to assume that since your experiences are a lot, that if you never saw something in particular or experienced something in particular, that other people wouldn't get there either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm back.
So Chris, what Claudia was just saying was that I shouldn't be so discouraging of possibilities, because I don't believe in concrete experiences, but that doesn't mean they can't happen. It's just I have an experience.
Oh, by the way, let me ask you, Chris, this. Because, for example, when I remember in my experiences, I had a few times what is called spherical vision, or some people call it 360 vision.
Oh, yeah.
But I noticed that a lot of times I'm not aware enough to remember that I had that. But I had it a few times. But it's not, a lot of times I don't remember having the spherical vision. So it seems like it happens sometimes. It doesn't happen sometimes. Some people have it more often, other people have it less often. What about you?
I feel like I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. I mean, I remember as a kid, I was able to just jump out of my body, go through I guess that's the crazy thing. Yeah, I was able to move my spirit around the place I was living at, And I guess that was kind of like a 360 view. I don't know how to explain it.
When you're in the void, I think that we have that spherical vision, because I remember in the void not noticing any basement for me. This I was nothing. Basically, I had no center point, or I had a center point, but let's say everything was around me, but I didn't see anything on myself. It's like I was energy. And
I think what I think and theorize is that at that point you're the pure form of energy. You're the pure form of the spirit,
right?
And the spirit basically it doesn't have only two eyes. It's kind of like you said, this 360 camera that can view everything at once,
right?
So I think that's what it is. We've gone back to the pure form of ourselves.
One thing I noticed from watching a lot of videos on YouTube is that it seems that it happens more often, that spherical view, in NDEs than in OVEs. In NDEs, I heard that a lot of times.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But I think, like I say, it's going back to that pure form of yourself, because this, like, I feel like this body is just, it's an avatar. It's like the car that we drive.
Yeah,
You know?
I say the same thing.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
When you guys are in the void, do you feel anything? Do you feel like you're spherical or energized or anything, or you just see it's just the way you see?
No, I think for me it was actually just because when I'm laying down, that's what I felt like when I saw the play. I'm laying down, I'm just viewing something, just
Okay.
just like the couple days ago where I was able to open my third eye and close it. And even now, I remember that feeling too, like how to open and close it. But like you said, the buffer, it's in my way. I can't see that side, you know?
But you can see it once you're, like, say, out of body, right? When you
Yeah.
were in the void, it was clear, I guess.
Oh, it
that
was very
image
clear.
of the woman.
Yeah, and the scary thing is, like, you gotta let go. Whatever's there, you have to, like, let it appear.
One thing I can tell you that I changed from the first voids experiences of the voids to the most recent ones, is that at some point, usually what happens is I feel my acceleration, like I became lucid, aware somehow, or was out of body, and I can feel the acceleration. But then
What
at
do you
some
mean by
point you might
acceleration?
feel like you're out of control, like the acceleration is too much, or you don't have a point of reference. You don't have a point of stability. And I think then the fear can come there and it can make it worse. And because you feel like you don't have a body, because you don't have any gravity, any control. You can get moved anywhere. But
Right.
then from those first ones to the latest ones, one key is not to, know the type of state I am, and not being afraid of the acceleration stuff, and then be calm. And when you're calm, you don't feel that acceleration. And
Can you
actually,
explain to me? Can you explain to me how you feel when it's accelerating? Because I don't know what you mean by accelerating.
like when you're in a roller coaster,
Oh, okay, that's what you mean.
have you had that feeling also in the in
I
in a
mean,
dream?
the only times that when I went through that self-inducing that what do you call it? That high pitched sound and the whole tingly sensation, the electrical shock throughout my body. Like that was the only time when I felt like there's so much power, so much like something was happening, you know? Yeah.
What else I was gonna say? Yeah, I improved in feeling more calm down when I am in that state.
Yeah.
It's and I want to get there more often if I can, because usually
Yeah.
everything
And
is more clear.
like I
Right?
said, like I want more concrete experience. Right? Like I want to be able to see the same spirit, talk to the same spirit, right?
Yeah.
And then like maybe like, and this is where it gets to, you know, back in the day, there's like a lot of Greek gods and a whole pantheon of gods for each race, each country, right? Because like I feel like once we mastered that, the astral traveling, the going into the void and having control over that, then we can have more consistent communication with these entities, right? And to also confirm whether or not they're real or fake.
Right.
That's what my goal is, right? And once I'm able to talk to these entities, I feel like, okay, now that's it, because I can ask them anything, any question, and they've already if the entity is real, the God is real, whatever, they know the answer. They can just tell me, go do this, Chris. Go do that, Chris. Go talk to this person, right?
Mm.
But that's why I want to reach out, where it's like almost like a symbiotic experience with the spirit.
Right. Have you tried? Do you know, for example, about the pendulum?
Yeah,
With a
I've heard of
pendulum,
that.
you can ask for yes/no questions.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I tried that. You can also use the rods. That you can go left or right, for example.
Yeah.
And you can say, okay, if well, you can also do it in the pendulum, but it takes longer. With the rods, you can say, if the letter is between A and N, go to the left. If it is between O and Z, go to the right. And then
Right.
you can start getting which letter, by doing like a section of the alphabet.
Yeah.
So for example, it's between A and N. Then it's between E and N. Then it's between E and J.
Yeah.
And then you finally know it's I, for example.
Yeah.
And then you start getting the letters.
Yeah, I think I might have to use that as like a beginner, because I can't even tap into the void right away like how I used to, right? So it's and I think it sometimes the spirits, they get kind of impatient and annoyed. It's kind of like us in the beginning of the video where we're trying to figure out like how I can turn on my microphone.
Mm.
It's the same thing. It's like they're trying to communicate to us, but we can't hear them. We can't speak to them. So all they can do is give us feelings, images in our head,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say it here now that I told you on the phone, that one thing that can help you if you have future encounters with something that looks ugly or like a monster is to try to visualize them being awake, trying to bring those images. Because when you're awake and practice the meditation, then you can have more control. You can see those. Let's say I for example try, because I don't do it that often, to bring monsters, but I was talking, Mike, I was talking about something that I told Chris on the phone that can help if he sees monsters again, that you can practice that in visualizations, that you can try to see monsters. And then, for example, lately, if sometimes I bring monsters and I make them smile.